This the introduction. Yep, I'm introducing me. 6 feet, 300 pounds, known to rock the newest sneaks. Coolin', never fooling, rocking G-Shocks like it's jewelry. Counting mad currency, flowing better than fluently. A man told me my years ain't match my wisdom, my camera.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy, the beautiful black man, the Honorable Brimezus, is back in here with a YouTube video, and today I'm going to honor my adopted grandfather, Mr. John Gerard, aka Jack Murphy. Before I get into that video, guys, don't forget to like the video, comment below if this video touches your heart in any way. Don't forget to cop some King Kamara and Brimezus t-shirts off my websites. The link will be in the description box below. And most importantly, guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can continue to give you guys more content on a regular basis. So without further ado, let's get on the video. By the time the video released, which should be March 29th, I released a video honoring my father, who had the same name as me, back in February. You guys can check that video out here. It's a pretty, touching video, and I really enjoy it. It's one of the most favorite videos I've made on my YouTube channel thus far, so I want you guys to check it out. You guys check out this video. I also want to talk about my adopted grandfather slash coach, Jack Murphy. Back in 2018, I became the owner of Delaware's oldest kickboxing slash MMA gym called Jack's Kickboxing Gym, named after my coach, Jack Murphy. And me and the individual Jack Murphy had a pretty close relationship. And he definitely had a huge impact on my life. Now, to be honest though, Jack was a little bit of a crazy person. Definitely a pistol. Still is in a lot of ways. But I learned a lot from him, and he definitely helped me turn into a better man in many positive ways. But in this video, I want to talk about some of my favorite stories and memories of him. So many of you guys may know I'm a professional fighter, but before I turned professional, I was a very established kickboxer. I was probably one of the most prominent, if not to this day, most prominent amateur kickboxer ever come out of Delaware thus far. And this is really thanks to a lot of people, but especially Mr. Jack Murphy himself. And I'm glad, because I never played many sports as a kid. I was very athletic. I was always into martial arts, but nobody in my family was really that much into, kickboxing and boxing the way I was. They never really pushed me to do that as much. My dad did give me a martial art when I was young, don't get me wrong. He was as important to him that I knew how to fight, but to pursue a fighting career wasn't really on his radar. However, my dad really did want me to get into professional sports. He always told me, because he's from Africa, that if he was born in the United States, there'd be no reason to make it to the NBA or some kind of national team. My dad was a very athletic person, and all praise due to the Most High, I inherited a lot of his good athletic genes for the most part. I can remember the first time I met Jack, I moved down the street from the gym when I was 16 years old, the summer after my junior year of high school. I walk in, and he's cursing and complaining about some fight promotion in Pennsylvania. And it's absolutely hilarious. He comes over and shakes my hand, gives me a piece of paper to go show my parents, because I'm not 18-year-old, can't really sign myself up at the gym at the time. And I do just that. And I would say the rest is history, but a lot of things have happened, since then. And one of the things I appreciate Jack for a lot was that he was a lot harder on me than any other fighters that he's had, because he saw the potential that I had in myself. And there were some times where I definitely met his expectations, but a lot of times like that I did not. And he used to say to me one thing that still rings to me in this day. He said, "You know how good you would be if you only listened." Now, I was a pretty good fighter. Again, I was one of the most dominant fighters as an amateur kickboxer in the country before I turned professional, and if not even the world at that, because he was pushing me to be that. I remember one time I had this fight against, I think it was an undefeated fighter way back in 2012. He was one of the best in the country. He won national titles and whatnot. There's people talking trash on Facebook that I wasn't as good as I thought I was, that I lose this guy, yada yada yada. I mopped the floor with this guy. It's probably, even to this day, maybe the best performance of my fighting career, both amateur and professional. And too bad I don't got any footage over it. At least I'll try to find it if I can. If I can find it, I'll post some of that in this video. It's me, a good friend of mine, Connell, a good friend Brian. We're both, fighting in the same car from the same gym. We're driving back. I'm the main event. My friend Connell, he wins his fight. My friend teammate Brian, he also fights one of the most dominant kickboxers in the country, I think, at the time, or on his up and coming. But he loses. But the entire ride back from Allentown, Pennsylvania to Newark, Delaware, he's just basically criticizing and heckled like over my performance, which is like spectacular. Everybody like knows it. Like, but I just sit there silent and keeps just, you know, I should do this, I should do that, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, we gotta get back to the gym Monday, da 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 da. And I'm just sitting there just thinking like, you know, yes sir, yes sir. And I know why he did that, because he knew how, I guess, cocky and arrogant I could be. So he was just trying to like pull the reins and just trying to keep me humble so I could continue to push myself and not settle for the things that I was already doing. He wanted me to be a greater person. And I understood that. And I remember like the next day he was like sending me screenshots from like other coaches and the promoters saying like, yo, like your fight is awesome. I can't believe what he did, da 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 da. He really looked out for me. He really wanted to push me to become great. And I'm really grateful for that, because I wish I could have done more for him. Like when I would lose, he was still like my coach. I wish I could have listened more and pushed myself more, because one of the bad habits I've gained, especially my pro career, was I was never really training to get better. I always had to train to get back in shape. I developed, even though I'm an owner, I'm a coach, everything like that of a gym, I developed really bad training habits. I only trained to like moderately, or when I had a fight, to just get back in shape. And my pro career really reflected on it. He will always say, you know, as a professional, like you train hard as an amateur, you ever did as a professional. He was right. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing all right, I guess, in life overall, but you know, if I definitely would have had better training habits, I don't think there would be any doubt that I'll be fighting like on the top of the food chain in any competitive sport, combat sport right now, had I been more diligent and been more disciplined as an amateur and a professional. He really always looked out for me. He even gave me, I remember, it had to be, I think after my first title fight, I never had any kickboxing and Muay Thai shorts, competition shorts. And I asked him where I could get some, and what he does, instead of recommending me like a specific brand of shorts or whatever, he gives me his very own fight shorts. And to this day, those are like one of my most like precious like possessions, honestly. You know, I get a little emotional speaking about it. You know, and like as a coach, I want to be able to like to pass down like my fight trunks to like another fighter in that kind of way, because they really symbolize like how much Jack himself like really thought of me and believed in me as a person, as a fighter. And I can honestly say that like more than like most people like in my entire life, even the people who are like, you know, this close to me, like Jack like really like probably believed in me like the most. And in some ways I might have let him down in my fighting career, but it really means a lot that he believed in me to that kind of extent. And you know, God bless his soul, because you know, even though he always put on this hard exterior, he was like very abrasive a lot of times, he was really a nice person. I've seen it. I remember like one girlfriend I was dating one time, she was like going through like some heavy stuff. She had a close relationship with Jack. He really helped her out in her personal life. I'm not gonna go into details, but it was like really serious stuff. And she like really probably saved that individual from like committing suicide. That person is really like literally alive today because of Jack Murphy. I remember my dad was in Africa one year, and I was in college, and my car broke down. My mom was like tight on money and whatnot. He gave me his car to like to go to school, come to the gym, go to work, this, that, and the other thing. He always looked out for me. You know, I used to call him my grandpa, because I never met my grandfather on my dad's side. He died when I was 14. I'd never been to Africa. He died back in Sierra Leone. My grandfather on my mom's side died when I was 9. We had a great relationship. I just didn't see him too often. Like I saw like uncle and stuff like more often than I saw like my own like grandfather, unfortunately. And he was able to like really replace that kind of grandfather figure like in my life. And Jack Murphy never had any biological kids of himself. So, you know, to him, you know, I am his grandson. And even when it came to owning the gym, I never really wanted to be a coach. It was never like my life's mission to be a coach. Like I wanted to avoid being a coach. And even like for years, he was bringing up to me, I said, Jack, I don't want to be a coach. Just stay being a coach. Just become more modern, do things different at the gym, everything will be fine. Because I had no aspirations of like being a coach. I definitely want to be an entrepreneur, but I still really want to be a coach and a gym owner. And there's people here at Jackson that have been here longer than me, fought longer than me, and it kind of like was surprising to me that like he picked me of all people to become the gym owner and the head coach. When I reflect on it, I kind of see why now, because it's kind of like when Captain America gave Sam Wilson his shield to become the next Captain America. It wasn't because Sam wanted to become Captain America, you know, just because he cared about what being Captain America meant more than anybody else. And you know, I didn't want to become a coach per se, but I didn't want to lose the gym. The gym had an extremely big impact on my life. For a lot of people, kickboxing and sports is like a temporary thing. Eventually they're gonna hang up the gloves or get into different things or retire from fighting or retire from training to some degree. In kickboxing, martial arts, for me, like kickboxing is like Islam. I'm gonna live and die a Muslim. I'm gonna live and die a kickboxer. Even when I'm 70, even not competing, I wanna live and die in kickboxing in some way. And I guess that's why Jack chose for me to run the gym, because he knew that I was gonna live and die for kickboxing, and I was never gonna wanna leave the gym behind. This is my video honoring Mr. Jack Murphy. Happy birthday, Grandpa, when you see this. I love you. May Allah give you more years with your fat, white, ugly, other things, you know. Me and him, we always joke with each other like that. And thank you for everything that you've done for me. And I'm gonna do my best to continue to make you proud. So guys, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment below, guys. Tell me what you guys thought about this video if you have a similar situation. Don't forget to cop some Honorable Brimezus t-shirts off my websites. The link will be in the description box below. And most importantly, guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can continue to give you guys more content on a regular basis. It's your boy, Brimezus. I'll see you guys next time.